Hey guys, One here, and today we'll be talking about BG building in general. I'll be going through the logic I use when I build BGs. This will be for every faction, every BG. It'll just be a very general guide to try and give you guys perspective and understanding. Now, first off, you see the UD page in front of you. If you go to any faction page, you're going to see the same thing. People talking about BGs, people asking for help with their BGs, people posting their BGs, or people just saying their faction sucks and needs to get buffed. And that's a big issue actually, because when it comes to BG building, why is it so important? Let's talk about BG building and skill. Skill is being able to some degree, do the best move in a current scenario you're dealing with. And to do the best move, you need two things. You need the skill to outmaneuver someone, and you need the BG tools to actually deal with someone. If someone stuns you, you need a tool. You can't outplay somebody with a stunned unit. But if someone deploys like a heavy tank or something you can't fight head on, either you need a tool to be able to kill it or handicap it, or you need skill to be able to outmaneuver it, maybe go for another font, maybe bait him in a way that it makes him have a disadvantage. So skill and BG go hand in hand. Skill will only take you so far, because you can't outplay everything. Like I said, if you're stunned, what are you going to outplay? You can't move anything, you're done. But also BG will only take you so far, because even though BG can take you pretty far, I'm not gonna lie, there's things you still need to outplay, and you're not gonna be able to use the BG to its maximum potential. So BG and skill go very hand in hand. When building a BG, you should be thinking about what tools you need to deal with the current meta, what usually gives you trouble, and how you should be dealing with it. When building any BG, there's two things you should know. What is this BG weak against? What are the issues of this BG? And what is this BG really good at doing? And then you should focus as much as you can on maximizing what the BG is good at and trying and minimize the weaknesses. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's give you an example of, first off, this is a post I read a while ago. If someone casts Reverting Blast against UD, it literally stops you. This is true. We have no cleanse, you can't deal with it. What are you going to do? How did I deal with this? I'm going to run you through my logic when I built this BG, and hopefully it'll give you some perspective. And I do have a reasoning for every single rune in this BG, and I hope this will let you understand more and be able to build your own BGs instead of just asking people for BGs. Because most people are biased, and there is no best BG in my opinion. Honestly, even I'm not the best at BG making. I feel like if other people got more courageous and started making their own BGs with the correct logic that hopefully this video will give you, they will come up with BGs that I would not have came up with, since everyone has different minds, different perspectives, and that's very important for factions and meta progression, which Fox Nora doesn't see a lot of because everyone's always complaining for buffs and nerfs, and frankly the game just does not have enough people that other games usually would. Now here, first off we have the Altered Lemur and the Mash Schism. This is how I deal with the Reverting Blast and stuns and so on and so forth. This was my answer that I came up with a year or two ago. Since I can't cleanse it, and I know I'm stuck for the turn, I can't outplay it. What I can do is I can stall. How do I stall? I deployed the Altered Lemur, Mash Schism, which basically tanks for a turn and protects me from whatever he was planning to do after the stun. It's very efficient, works for me. Next up, Chosen of Osiris. Very good rune, good for early game. The reason I picked him is he's a very strong early game champion. He has Ready, which gives him 2 AP plus 6 speed. 8 speed is very high draw win potential, which is still very possible on these maps in the current rotation. And he has Meek Hunter, or Hunter Meek, sorry, which is strong against champions that are 17 or and under, which is very common in the current meta. Doombringer. Doombringer has bounce, which is good, but that's not the reason why I run it. And you shouldn't just run a rune because it has good abilities. Why do I run Doombringer? Because I'm maximizing what UD is good at, or what I believe UD is good at in this meta BG. Kill potential. How do you maximize kill potential? Damage and high damage spells. So as you see, I have a bunch of high damage spells and Price of Victory that are 35 Nor. And these champions have adaptives. Every time I cast that 35 Nor spell or higher, I gain damage on the champion and HP. So these champions naturally, without me doing anything extra than I usually would be doing, are just gaining insane amounts of damage. It's not even the theme of the BG, and it's already a good synergy in the BG. Grimlik is just a range unit because there's no range in this BG, and it's important to have at least some range if you plan on taking your BG late game, which I like to have at least the option, because I'm a player that doesn't like to, like, if I fail early game, I'm not just going to surrender the game. I'm not that kind of player. I'm going to design a BG that no matter what happens throughout the game, I can take it like all the way. I'll play you late game. I'll play a 2-hour game. I got this. My BG is ready for it. Thunderclops. Thunderclops have insane synergy with Mindstorm. The reason for this is, I'll show you in a second once it loads, the Static Shock ability, which takes away 2 damage per each AP lost, which is really, really good with Mindstorm, because Mindstorm takes away AP, or drains all the enemy's AP, as well as doing very good damage. So I'm gonna run these kill potential spells anyway. This just makes this spell really much more efficient, and added bonuses that the champion is cheap in a BG that's all 70s more or less. So it's good to have at least 2 cheap champions in there, other than the Altered Lemur. Now if you notice, there's a good synergy over here. There's kill potential spells. These guys naturally get stacked up by the kill potential spells. These guys are making the kill potential spells stronger. There's good synergy right there. And now we got the Stranglers. These guys are mostly tanks because they have Scraper. They aren't naturally tanks, but they have Scraper. Every time they do a basic attack, they get resistance to melee by 50% and resistance to range by 50%, which is very good, makes them a very strong unit. They also have Conduct Upgrade, which steals upgraded abilities from enemies, which is not a reason to run it. Like if anyone looks at this unit and sees that and says, "Oh, I should run this," that's not correct reasoning. I run it because the tank and this BG needs a tank. Fire Slinger. Why do I run Fire Slinger? Fire Slinger is in there for late game. Like I said earlier, if I lose early game, or I know a BG is going to be able to stall me out, immediately I'm going to bring out the Fire Slingers because they have escalation. They get 1 damage per turn. They're going to slowly build up, and if the game goes for the long haul, I'm going to have extremely high damage on them. So that's very good late game potential. Pincushions are in there to deal with range heavy BGs, very range heavy BGs. Boundless Enthusiasm, that's good for passing tanks and going for the backline. That's mainly the reason it's there. Demolish is good in this meta since there's a lot of relics. I find myself using it very often, so I added it in there. I'm 50-50 about Fading Recollection. I feel like it's good in this meta, especially because people are running champions that are worth the Nora to fade. But some games you're not going to use it, so I'm very 50-50 about this rune. Sometimes I take it out, sometimes I keep it in. But it has its uses, you know. Magicism is in there for the Altered Lemur, as I said earlier. All of this is kill potential spells. These are all kill potential spells. I added Purifier because I found myself dealing with immunity a lot and just things that needed to be dispelled. And it does really well with the Fire Slinger. Now here's the thing. Even though it does well with the Fire Slinger, that's not the reason why I run it. I run it because I found myself having issues with in previous. And I can't outplay in previous, but I can out BG in previous. Retribution and Sacrifices are just very important core spells. Split Personality is really good. Same thing, it's an early game BG, kill potential. When you're fighting early game, you want to have something to protect you, and this is a very good defensive spell. And Banner is pretty much in every BG. Now that was the logic for this specific BG, as you just saw. I had a reasoning for every rune. I know why I'm running these runes. I know what they're there to counter. And if I start losing specific things, I'm going to change this BG. I'm going to find, what did I just lose to? Why did I lose to it? What rune combination can help me not lose to it again? And I'll go and change it and put that into the BG. And that's what you should be thinking about it. And I'll just show you a quick example of a not so great BG I saw on the forums. Now, I'm sure this guy has his reasonings, but I don't see it. Do you feel this BG is sufficiently countering what needs to be countered in the meta? If yes, then okay, for sure run this BG. But I want you to make sure 100% that you have enough BG to use your skill correctly, whatever skill you've accumulated over the time you've played this game. Because no matter how good you get, like I just told you, you can outplay some things, you can out BG some things, but you're gonna have to do both. And you're gonna have to learn the difference between getting outplayed and getting out BG'd. Because if you just keep changing your BGs for things that you could have outplayed, you're not gonna have a great BG. You need to understand when you got outplayed and when you got out BG'd, and when you got out BG'd, you need to start getting creative and finding ways to deal with that thing so you can beat it next time. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.